be in here. I'll be a little bit of everywhere.
Here comes Benny flowing locks covering his neck. A guitar in his hand, his beard is a wreck. What's that in his pocket? In that leather slip? That's a classic design, a Lanny's clip. Doesn't he run his own brand? Shouldn't it be his own knife? The one in his hand? Well, sure, I agree. It probably should be, but can he do it justice? Of course he can, when he sets his imagination free. Give it a tug, give it a pull. It's got some resistance, I hope you drank a Red Bull. Yanking it hard, pulling it open, I felt something snap. Is a tendon broken? I want a big slip joint, I need it to cut. Don't wanna be ripped off or plowed in the butt. I'm tired of the economy, I need to save money. Luckily Ben keeps his prices in check, and this is why he's got a good rep. Benny's clip, it's super stabby. For the price you pay, it ain't too shabby. Got some wicked carbon fiber and some mill tie too. Gonna need to grab one, or possibly two.
Hey guys, Jim here. Welcome back to the channel. We're going to try this for the second time. I have already recorded this video. I have already uploaded this video to YouTube. And it was there the last time I looked, and now it's not. So, thanks YouTube. Let's get into this. We're going to take a look at the brand new drop from Jack Wolf Knives called the Benny's Clip. Now, these are going to be $299, and they are dropping live on September 13th at 2 p.m. Eastern. This is a really, really cool looking knife. And it fits in well. If you're already a collector of Jack Wolf knives, you're going to find a way to match this up with other Jack Wolves that are already in your collection. Let's speed things up and get this unpackaged as quickly as possible while still showing you all the cool shit that you get inside of this box.
Give it a tug, give it a pull. It's got some resistance, I hope you drank a Red Bull. Yanking it hard, pulling it open, I felt something snap. Is a tendon broken? I want a big slip joint, I need it to cut. Don't wanna be ripped off or plowed in the butt. I'm tired of the economy, I need to save money. Luckily Ben keeps his prices in check.
I am very, very happy that I got the Starburst pattern in the full titanium version because it matches my fixed EDC. I love how the texture feels. And this is one of the rare occasions where I've gotten a Jack Wolf that's all titanium and doesn't have any carbon fiber. What a nice matching set. Will I be super cheesy and carry them as a matched pair on some days? Probably. Judge me, I don't care. I will shit on your welcome mat. The titanium hardware is a nice antiqued bronze look that's low-key and classy, kind of rustic looking. Now, how's the pull? This is a unique knife in the collection. It is a medium to high pull. It takes quite a bit of strength. And for me, I have to use the nail nick, which I don't like using a nail nick on any of my knives. I know that sounds weird, but I prefer to just grasp the flat and pull the blade out. But with this knife, I have to use the nail nick. It's hard to get a hold of, and it's got a very strong pull. Walk and talk, though, is fantastic. Sounds great, feels great, and it's not even broken in yet. Now, a little bit about me. The Lanny's clip is my least favorite pattern of all slip joints that I have personally handled. I like how they look, but I'm not a fan, see, of how little area you have to pinch and to pull. The closer you are to the blade tip, the more leverage you have, and the easier it is to open. A Lanny is the opposite of that. It's putting you closer to the pivot for your pinch point. And I'm just not a fan of that. So I don't look at this as a fault of Jack Wolf knives. I look at it as a feature of the design that I don't particularly care for. And that design was created by the legendary Tony Bose. Now, I'm not saying he didn't do a great job. It is a fantastic pattern. It's just not one that agrees with me on a personal level. That's all. So if I grab something like my Venom, I've got lots of room because there's a lot of blade sticking up out of the handle, and I can get as far toward the tip as I want to. That gives me more leverage. So I find this a lot easier to get open, to deploy, and to use. So I definitely have my favorites now. 2 years ago, I didn't even care about slip joints. Now I love them. And I'm really only addicted to Jack Wolf knives slip joints because I like this modern look, the modern feel, the modern materials. And now I've gotten to the point where I've gotten so many and I've gotten so used to them that I've definitely chosen my preferences on the patterns that I like. Now here's the other weird thing. Let's get this back open. Lay this out. And you see that aggressive clip point design? Now that's very similar to the Big Bro and to the Little Bro, because these are all clip points. Now the Lanny's clip is a bit different. You have a longer clip point. You see that your flat is much further back, and then your nail nick being back there. It's a slightly different profile because it's a different grind. Here's a saber grind, while these are full height hollow grinds. So by having that grind so far down, you are able to get a more prominent flat, which you would think would normally be a good thing, right? But the flat ends right here so that it starts dropping down to the clip point. And the difference being, on the full height grind, because these are hollows, it goes from being super crazy thin to thicker at the top, and then there is a little bit of a lip right here where the grind ends and the blade spine begins. And I can grab on that because I can wedge that between my fingers and more easily use it. So that's the differences and what my preferences are as a result. But again, it looks so cool. It's aggressive, pointy, stabby, and wicked. It's just not one that I want to deploy often. So when I want this look, I'll probably end up carrying my Benny, which was released last month. And the Benny is the locking version of the Benny's clip. So the Benny's clip is the slip joint, and this is the locking front flipper that's based off of the slip joint pattern. And the action on this is fantastic. And there might still be some available at the dealers that you're shopping at when you get your your Benny's clip. Dig this knife, love the size, fantastic knife all the way around. Now, Ben is also introducing a new steel series of Jack Wolf knives. And it's important we discuss that because it's launching with this model. And it will be something he's going to continue going forward as long as it's successful. It will be the same design, but without the costlier materials. So instead of getting titanium bolsters and titanium liners, that will all be steel. So basically steel in place of titanium, and lesser expensive handle materials like micarta instead of carbon fiber. And dropping down from S90V to 14C28N, things like that. The main line will not be affected. The Steel Series is an addition to the current lineup. And they'll save you about $100 by reducing material costs and eliminating the special packaging. You're just going to get a simple plastic tube with a label on it. You're not going to get the fancy collectible artwork. You're not going to get the cleaning cloth. You're not going to get the leather slip. So keep that in mind. You're going to save $100, but if you're like me and you feel like you absolutely must have a leather slip for every one of your slip joints, you're only going to save $75 because you're going to end up going back to Jack Wolf's website and buying a slip for $25. Me personally, I think it's a better deal because you get the full complete package with the higher end materials if you just buy the standard version. If you choose the Steel Series, nothing wrong with that. You're just getting a slightly different knife. It's the same design, same quality, just the materials and the packaging are going to be, they're going to cut the corners there so that you have the choice. You have the power to choose how much you're going to spend on every drop that you're like, oh my God, I have to have one of these. Now you don't have to spend $300 every time. You could spend $200. Or when there's a particularly special one that comes out, then you spend the $300. So I think it's pretty cool that Ben's doing that. I'm not a huge fan of it because I'm always going to want the more premium line. But I recognize there are a lot of people in our community, in our hobby, that have a hard time keeping up with everything that they want to buy to add to their collections, especially now in this horrible trash economy. Listen, we used to complain about how much our car payments were or how much our mortgage was. Now, we actually have a big hurdle every time we go to the damn grocery store. You go in going, I just need a few things. I'm going to spend around $50, $60 and it's $185. And you're like, how did that even happen? So everybody's life is different now. So this is probably the best time possible for Ben to introduce that Steel Series. Good on him for doing so. Now, let's talk about the specs on this knife. You're looking at a closed length of 3.81 inches and a blade length of 3 inches. Cutting edge is 2.64 inches, and your scale-to-scale thickness is 0.44 inches, so under a half an inch easily. Your blade stock thickness is 120 thou thick, and the weight is 3.4 ounces. Now, I'm assuming that's going to be for the carbon fiber versions, and this might be a couple tenths of an ounce heavier in the full tie. You're getting S90V for your blade steel that is clocking out at 60 to 61 HRC on the Rockwell scale of hardness. All the way around, another solid choice. And listen, if you're going to talk about famous patterns, the Lanny's clip is a famous pattern by one of the most legendary knife makers ever. I've had a chance to spend time with Mr. Bose in not recent years, but fairly recent years. The last time I saw him was about a year before he unfortunately passed away. An incredible knife maker that was generous with his time, with his knowledge. He taught a lot of today's best slip joint makers how to make a slip joint. He has stood by them side by side and mentored them and taught them all of the most important tricks. He didn't keep that knowledge to himself. He didn't say, I'm gonna die with all this knowledge in my head because I want to be the best there is and keep all my secrets to me so nobody else can compete. No, that's not the spirit of knife makers, and it's not the spirit of the Knife Makers Guild, which Tony was a part of. You share your knowledge and you help others to bring them up and to help grow the industry. And he was a wonderful ambassador for that. So may he rest in peace. He was an incredible person and a great mentor to a lot of slip joint makers out there. And obviously Ben respects him, and Ben respects the Lanny's clip design because he wanted to recreate that out of all the different patterns that Ben has recreated, because again, they are modern interpretations of timeless classics. That's what the brand is about. Taking classic designs and modernizing them. So paying homage to one of the most popular and most well-known is just a great way of doing it. I know there's going to be a lot of people that are just going to go gaga over this because of what it is. And again, visually, I love the look. I love that blade profile. It's fantastic. But luckily for me, I have plenty to choose from, and I get to carry whatever I want that's even similar or wildly different, and have some amazing Jack Wolves to choose from. This might be just a good backup for a while. Just kind of have it sitting off to the side, waiting for the right time to carry it. I don't know. We'll see. But either way, my favorite feature of this is definitely the starburst pattern in that milled titanium. It was done exceptionally well. And it's nice and grippy without any of these areas feeling sharp, not even on the edges here. Feels really comfortable in the hand. And I do, again, really like the decision to do the bronze antiqued anodized hardware. It's cool now that they're anodizing hardware and doing the colors to match with the knives. That looks great. But I think on this one, going low key was the best choice. He could have done gold. He could have left them raw machined satin. He could have done blue or purple or green or something, and it wouldn't have looked as good. I really like the bronzed look. I think it looks fantastic. Classy knife from a classy dude. That's the way I see it. Anyway, I'm out of here for now. Thank you guys for joining me as always, and I'll see you on the next video.